Welcome to the India Joy Influencer Con 2021.
She is from Bangalore, but based out of Delhi, and she creates awesome education-related content on her Instagram. And her priorities are how to cook, how to color her hair so that she gets a lot of views, and some tricky techniques to make people learn. And the learning can be with respect to Malayalam, can be Hindi, English, from chemistry to hack to learn. So, Satya, how do you make all this happen? So that's my question. And how did it start?
Uh, it started off with Reels. When Reels came out, I was just playing around with the software because it was already built into Instagram, and I was just making videos for fun, like for my friends and my family. And it's a running joke that when I moved to Delhi, my Hindi got me into a lot of trouble. So I was like, guys, I figured it out. I have a couple of tips and tricks. I'm not, that helpless. And these are a few ways that you can not get conned in Delhi. And so I started making these tiny few videos, and my friends really liked it, and they started sharing it. And then it reached a whole new audience, and people were like, "Oh, you should like make more of this. You should make more of this." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And so I just went with the flow and started making videos, and just I was just curious about the platform, and I just started playing around with things, and it kept growing. And I was like, okay, it was fun, and I kept doing it, and here I am.
Super. So, what made you create edutainment content? Like you would have done just the education or just the entertainment, but a fusion of these two. What made you get into this?
I think when you're trying to teach someone or when you're learning anything, if there is an element of fun or entertainment attached to it, then A, you're not only motivated to learn, but B, it sticks in your head for a long period of time. Like today, if anybody asks you what's the sixth planet from the sun, everybody remembers my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas. And then you have that mnemonic device, right, that you use to remember these things. So in college, I was like that. I would always make up these scenarios and stories to help teach my friends before an exam. And so that translated very easily into the way I create content. So um, I want to teach people new ways to learn things, but I also want to make it fun so that you not only get entertained, but later when you're laughing and you're thinking about it, you still remember the punchline, which was the educative thing. So I'm like the human equivalent of a vegetable Maggie, where you get the Maggie, but you get your nutrition as well. So I wouldn't have it any other way. Like I feel rote learning anything is extremely boring and it doesn't stick in your head. So it's fun for me to create and it's fun for people to enjoy. So it's a win-win on both directions.
Yeah. So here is my next question. So did coloring your hair work? Get more subscribers, more followers.
I already had colored hair when I started creating content, but I will agree that it made me stand out a little bit because even if people don't know my name, they remember the hair. And so a lot of people, they can't pronounce my name, but they're like, oh, you're the girl with the blue hair. And so that was the initial identity, which went on to branch into you're the girl who teaches Malayalam or Kannada or Hindi, and then you say easy. So as a creator, it is important to have a unique identity. In my case, it's my hair. But the drawback of that is if I ever decide to go all black, then nobody's going to recognize me, and I'll have to think of a new identity to go along.
Okay. So what your strategy to create hacks to learn?
When I started, I didn't have a strategy, to be honest. I was just making it for fun. But then I realized that this has a lot of potential, and as an IP, it worked really well because it was pretty broad based. I could do a hacks to learn Hindi and then expand it to Kannada, Malayalam, cooking, literally anything. There is a hack to learn to do something, right? So my strategy basically was, okay, how can I diversify this IP that I have, but still retain its core identity? And so for me, my strategy in that sense was to have the opening and the end to be the same, which was hacks to learn and then end with the easy. So when I had these two bookends that sort of made the IP, the rest of it I could experiment with whatever I wanted to do. So for me, I create content that I find interesting, or if in conversation with my family. Like yesterday, I did a hacks to learn Malayalam with the K words, and it was based out of something that my father said about kunna and konna, and I was like, hey, those two sounds familiar. And then quickly, I just made the video. So a lot of what I create is what I hear around me, and it's just one idea that you just take 5 minutes, you sit, you think about it, and then you have a script, you have a concept, and then you can make the video.
Out of all the contents that you've created, the best content you personally like might not have received a lot of engagement, but what's your personal favorite?
I really like the Annoying Kids series that I do, which is basically this little kid who says "Sachi chichi, Sachi chichi," and tries to annoy the older sibling or cousin as much as they can. And I find it very funny, and I enjoy doing it because it's based on me as a younger kid, and all the things I would do to irritate my siblings, or the things that they used to do to, trouble me. So I personally really enjoy making those. Apart from that, something that I really, really enjoy making is my cooking videos, which takes a lot of time to edit and do all of that. But I feel like that gives a lot of value to the audience, because then you can see that it's easy to make. Like, cooking isn't complicated, it isn't difficult. You just have to know what to do, how to do it, and then everybody will get almost a equal and successful result.
Did you take help of any of the agencies or some professional help to get your followers from X number? I mean, in terms of like, let's say, hashtags, or how do you post it? Apart from creating content, did you take help of, or you did it everything by yourself?
I think I don't have an agency, so all that I did was all trial and error, and learning and just observing different things that worked on my platform. I think as creators, you really need to look at your analytics. You need to see at what time is good for posting, where your audience is from, their age group. A lot of these things factor into what makes successful content really grow. And with regard to hashtags and all that came from a lot of reading online, a lot of Googling, how many hashtags should I use? What are the best kind of hashtags? And I also follow a lot of content creators on Instagram who give tips on how to grow your account and to grow it organically. Because, I mean, I know that numbers look good, but what's the point of having like 1 million followers, but 90% of them are bots and they don't engage with your content, or you don't have that back and forth and that feedback, right? That's not fun at all. So for me, I really enjoyed the process of growing like slowly like this, but learning a lot along the way as well.
So, Satya, what's the most engaging platform that worked for you? Is that Instagram or YouTube?
For me, it was Instagram, because when I started, Instagram was also pushing reels a lot. So I got pushed to a wider audience. But I don't discount YouTube either, because I think YouTube is a great platform for long form content. And that's something I'm looking to explore and expand on. So I used to make a couple of videos on YouTube earlier, but it didn't really take off. And I wasn't consistent with it. I didn't spend a lot of time with it. And that's another thing with being successful on a platform, is you find a platform, you stick to it, and you be consistent on it, and eventually you will see growth. And then once you have established yourself on one platform, it's much easier for you to branch out into, say, YouTube, or making podcasts, or having your own merch, having your own show, da da da. But you need to, as a creator, if you're serious about it, you need to have a plan and lock it in and see through that plan until you feel like you reach metrics that you feel are successful.
We have a couple of audience joining in. So this is Rashmi from YouTube channel Spark Butterfly. Hi, Rashmi. We also have Aparna Pawan. I think Aparna just saw Rashmi's channel. So people, if you have any questions, audience joining in, have any questions for Satya, feel free to ask. While I'm finishing off with my questions, you have something to ask her, do let me know on the chat. So Satya, you manage multiple characters, right? What made you do that? Matlab, dadi banana, dadi lagana, and getting into a father character, getting into a mother character. So what made you do that, and how do you manage? creating content?
I think most of my characters are based on real life characters or people that I have come across and seen. And it's something they say or the way they act that I find very funny. And I'm think about, okay, how can I make this into a funnier, larger content piece? So I really enjoy taking on multiple characters, trying the different costumes and things like that. The only problem with male characters that I have is when you do the beard, it takes a while to take off, and you can't like immediately switch. You have to film the beard stuff all together at one shot. Then you can do all the female shots at one shot, which is why I really like the filter feature that you have on the short video platforms. So you can just keep switching. Like 1 second I can be a boy, I can just turn, and 1 second I can be a girl, right? So even when you're filming and editing, that makes things a lot easier. And it's fun. It's fun to take on different characters and see how far you can push the envelope when it comes to representing these different demographics that you have. And it's also lovely to see how people relate with it. Like sometimes when I do a dad character and people are like, oh my God, this is just like my dad. So it's a really enjoyable process for me, and I look forward to creating more characters as well. I'm not done with the current roster that I have.
So we have a question from Kavya Sharma. Kavya is asking, how do you manage your creative burnout? It is an extensive process. How do you handle this?
Thank you for the question, Kavya. So how I work with it is whenever I get an idea, I just note it down on my phone. And what I try to do is I try to film 3-4 videos at one shot so that I have enough to put out for the week. Because I know that I cannot create content every single day because I have a day job as well, right? So there are sometimes I have meetings back to back. So I don't have the time to film and edit and put it out. So that also helps with some days you don't really feel like coming on camera. You don't feel like, yay, to make a video. And it puts a lot of internal pressure on you that, oh no, I have to put out a video today, but you don't feel your best. So it's a lot of like back and forth in your head. So it really works if you can make a list of all the videos that you want to do, and then one day only shoot everything and keep it ready so that you know that when you want to release it, you can do. And you also have the time to revisit it, because if you're under a lot of pressure and you want to put out a video and you think I have to put something out by 4 p.m. today, it's already 3:30, I have no idea what to do, and you just force yourself to do something, you don't even have time to sort of reflect and look at it and be like, is this really that great? Do I really like this? And I've gone through that in the past where I've just forced myself to put out videos, and I know, like personally watching it, I know it's not that great. And then you can see that in the audience response as well, where people are like lukewarm to it, and then you feel like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So from personal experience, on days that I don't want to put a video, I don't want to film, I just don't do it. I give myself that break, and I would rather take a break and give great content than be putting out mediocre stuff every day.
So did you happen to like delete any of the content because usme zyada likes nahi aaya, but rest of the videos have like a lot of engagement, a lot of views, and a lot of responses, but this particular thing did not happen? Did you like wait for 2-3 days and then delete it?
I don't think I've ever deleted anything I've put out. There are some that I still feel like are a bit cringe, but I know that reels have a long shelf life. There is one particular video I remember which didn't do too well when I first posted it, but then somehow it picked up a week or 2 weeks after I posted and went on to hit like 2 million views. So I would suggest don't delete anything you put out unless there's like a factual error in it and you have to rectify it. I think that's the only time once I've deleted a reel because there was a factual error in it. But otherwise, it's fine. It's your page. Nobody's going to penalize you for the content you put out unless you are offending something or it gets reported for something and your profile gets restricted. But otherwise, don't delete anything. What is there? It's okay. You can remove it from your home feed if you want. You just keep it in your Reels tab.
Okay. This is a curiosity question from Kavya. Did you start as a full-time creator, or when did you decide to go full-time? How are you managing with your time in the week?
I'm still not a full-time creator. I still have a day job. Even when I started creating content, I had a day job, and I actually like it. I like the duality of the two roles because there's one which allows you to be completely creative and go crazy. The other part of it gives you structure and stability in your life. And I like the two of them, and I feel like both of them have given me skills that complement each other. A lot of what I've learned on my content creation journey, I'm able to use in my workplace, and to see very good results there as well. So it's nice. I really enjoy both of it, and I'm very lucky in the sense that my workplace is pretty flexible, and they're completely okay with me creating content. Um, so I really enjoy it, and I think it is possible to do both. Although, if you're the type of content creator who like travel, you're a travel blogger or things like that, and then you have to be on the road, then probably you'd have to do it full time because you wouldn't be able to give your best to either of the two then.
So there's a secret question from Aparna Pawan. So are there any particular hashtags that can get you viral?
That can get you viral. I think you have to use a mix of hashtags. Use some hashtags that have, like for example, people put hashtag funny reels. They have like 2.5 million whatever mentions, but also put some that are very unique to you. Like I use a hashtag for my series. Like I use a hashtag hacks to reel, so that hacks to learn, so that I know whoever's watching my video, if they want to see more of the similar video, they just have to click on the hashtag and they'll get all of it. The second thing to do is, if you are referencing any TV show or character, definitely use a hashtag of the same, like hashtag The Office or hashtag Michael Scott, whatever, because whoever's following that hashtag, who may not follow you, but then they will come across your content. So use hashtags that are specific to your content, because then if someone who's following that hashtag is just scrolling, they'll find you, they'll find that it's relevant, then they might follow you. But if you're randomly putting hashtag funny, hashtag trending, hashtag this, hashtag those, in my personal opinion or experience, they don't work.
So Aparna has this particular challenge. She's saying, I'm posting videos, but I'm not getting engagement. So what's
Okay.
been your best post that has the highest engagement, and how do we solve Aparna's problem? Any suggestion you have for Aparna Pawan?
I think the video of mine which had the highest, I don't remember if it's the highest, but basically I have the series where there's like a miscommunication between someone speaking Malayalam and Hindi, where like for example the word chuma, right? In Hindi it means kiss, in Malayalam it means simply. So you have this miscommunication that happens and it ends with Ulu. So that video series does particularly well, just because it reaches two sets of audience, one a Malayalam audience, one a Hindi audience, and a third audience which doesn't know either language but can relate to it somehow, or they learn a new word in the process. So, with regard to your particular query, I would say use trending music. That's the easiest way to at least get some visibility. Just look at on videos at the bottom, there's like one arrow next to the song. That's your trending music. And just, I've seen a lot of small business owners use this trending music because they get onto the explore page easier and then they just blow up. So if you have great content, but you're just struggling with getting noticed, use trending audio. I think more than hashtags, that is what will get you noticed, at least on Reels.
Super. What is your inspiration? Who supports you more? This is from Aparna Pawan again.
What is my inspiration? I think my inspiration to create content is definitely people around me. All the jokes I make are based on people around me. But who supports me? I think people who follow my work and who engage in my work. It's, as a creator, the main thing is when you see people commenting and saying, "Hey, this is so funny," or "This is so great," or "I shared it with my friend," or "My mother saw this and me and my mom are still laughing about it." So that is really what inspires me to keep creating content. And it's very important to listen to your audience, and understand what they want to see, because sometimes the ideas and the suggestions they give are so good that you're like, oh, that's like a great fit, and it really makes you think a lot about what else you can do as a creator. So yeah, and my family is pretty supportive. They're not really on social media, but they know I make videos, and my mother keeps watching my videos over and over again next to me. So then I feel a little happy that, oh, okay, it must be nice. She's watching it so many times. So, yeah.
So, any transformation in Satya from the time your college days and before you started creating content versus now? Did anything change personality?
I think I've become much more comfortable with who I am, where I'm from, my culture, how I speak, and all of these things. I think when I was in college, I was trying very hard to be like everybody else and be like what was cool and all of that. And now I feel I'm very, very comfortable with who I am. And I think that comes across in my content as well. I try to be as authentic as possible because I feel like it's very important to understand who you are and where you come from and appreciate that. I did not appreciate languages, local languages, for example, as much, or local food. And it was only once I moved out of home and I was among people who did not know it, did not understand it, and sometimes even ridiculed it, that I felt like, I must, I myself must respect it first before I expect other people to respect it. So I think that has been really, really good, and that has given me a lot more confidence because now I know whenever anybody says something or like, "Oh, your accent is like this, so you speak like that," and I'm like, "Yeah, so it's okay."
Any memorable or crazy fan encounters? Because most of the influencers, don't get a chance to go out. They've been creating content, and most of the time in house, or they go to select locations where there's good background, etc. But they're not working. You're also working, so you have a regular job. You go there, come back. So any surprising fan encounters?
Yeah, I mean, like you meet people at the airport and like when you go to a restaurant and I wouldn't say surprising as such. There was only one incident which was a very unpleasant one where someone was stalking me, which was I know I'm smiling and saying it, but it was extremely disturbing. But apart from that, usually people are really nice when they meet you, and they always say, "Hey, are you Sacha?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then we take a photo together, and it's been really nice, and I enjoy it. But sometimes when somebody meets me with their parents, and then their parents are like, "Oh, you make those videos, we watch it, we laugh at it," I feel really happy. Like, oh, because when your own age group says something is nice, you're like, okay, cool. But when their parents say it, you're like, oh, they think it's cool, must be cool. So yeah, that's a nice feeling when parents or grandparents are like, "Oh, nice videos."
How did Chuma cooking, journey? How did that start?
Uh, Eating healthy at one point in my life, and I was trying to cook all my own meals. So I would post these pictures, and this is before I started creating content. This is just when my page was very small. I had only my friends and a few unknown people. So I would post pictures of my food, and they'd be like, "How do you manage? It looks so difficult. I wish I could cook." And I'd be like, "You can! Like it's so easy." So that's when I started. I still remember it was back in December 2019 or something. And I was like, I'm going to show you guys how to cook. It's damn easy. And I started posting stories of every step. And I called it Chuma Cooking because in Malayalam, Chuma means simply. So it's for fun, cooking for fun. And so that went on to then I started documenting all the recipes that I tried in my blog. I started making small videos. And then I realized that it's a lot of fun and people enjoy seeing the process of cooking when they know that, for example, to make like overnight oats is so easy. It's like 2 3 steps and you can see the steps, then you feel inspired and be like, okay, maybe I can try it too. So my biggest the highlight from that was when people would send me pictures of things that they have tried and said like, I've never cooked before and this is the first dish I ever cooked, and my family was so impressed. So then I feel really happy that okay, someone has learned something and tried something new and realized that especially things like cooking, it's so easy. And I think everyone should learn how to cook at least the basic dishes for themselves because it makes you independent. And B, it's something you can impress people with. If you want to impress someone, just cook something nice for them for their birthday and then they are like your friends for life. Yeah, cooking is fun. Everyone should do it.
Super. So I think we have a lot of compliments coming in. Satya Sirisha says, very well said, Sachya. Very informative. Very
Thank
informative.
you.
Thank you. That's from Aparna Pavan. Kavya Sharma says, best talk so far. Loved it. Thank you, Satya.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there is a question from Anusha K. How important it is to stick on to a particular niche? or experiment with different categories? Good question.
That's a really nice question. I think when you're starting off, if you want to create your identity for what people follow you, then it's important to create a niche. For example, if someone cooks or just okay, if someone is an artist or a cartoonist, right, you would follow them for their artwork. But if they used art to create funny content, like a lot of these artists make animated cartoons with audios, that's like a smooth transition to another category. So then you're doing art plus comedy. But if an artist whose face I've never seen suddenly starts making like dancing reels or fashion reels, I wouldn't understand it, and I would probably unfollow them because I don't understand who they are as a creator and why I need to follow them. So I would say if you start off with one category, say you are a dancer and you start posting dancing reels, then you can transition to doing makeup while dancing or cooking while dancing, but retain within your core of who you are. For me, my niche seems to have been my trademark, whatever I say. So I know even if I do cooking, I do makeup, I do dance, I don't do dance, but in case I do it, if I just have to do that easy thing at the end, because then I know it will connect to what my core identity as a creator is. And if someone is watching, they get who I am. Because that's what happens, at least I as a consumer, when I'm looking at reels, sometimes I come across a reel which I think is hilarious, and then I go to that person's profile, and then I don't see similar content there, so I don't follow them. But if I see similar kind of reels on the same topic or at least in the same genre, then I feel like, okay, there is something more to this person, I would like to see what else they do. So that's when I go and follow them, and that's how you grow as a person, if you start thinking like an audience rather than as a creator.
So we're running out of time. We just have 1 minute. So Satya, you have to give one takeaway for budding influencers. What would that be?
I would definitely say just start. Whatever you want to do, just start creating content and be consistent with it. Just make up your mind. Okay, give yourself like a 2 week challenge and promise yourself that you would create at least one video every single day and just create it. And then after the 2 weeks, you can take a call if you want to continue doing it, if you don't want to do it, if it didn't work, because you will realize what works for you only when you try it. Like, how will you know that you are good at something? Only when you try it will you realize that, okay, I'm terrible at it, I will never do it again. Or like, hey, I have something here, but if I improve and I do it a little more, then I get really good at it. So I would say just go for it, and don't worry too much about what people say. They will say something anyway, so just do it.
Thanks a lot, Satya, for joining us and taking time out. Influencer Con, the agenda is to create content for budding influencers so that they learn from it and then they improve. Because we want to see everybody getting into the stage where they have millions of followers.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Thanks for those wonderful questions. Hold on. There are awesome sessions coming in till tomorrow evening. So do follow Satya. I guarantee you would love the content.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really good, and everyone who's watching, thank you for watching, and continue watching InfluencerCon. You're going to learn a lot through all the sessions. All right. Thank you.